Thursday pose, you may see it with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign is turned off. Be careful when retrieving your items to this overhead. They may have shifted during your flight. Airplane mode is no longer fired, so
Good morning from a very sleepy Tom Torero in Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. It is the final morning today. Craig and I fly deep down under. Always good to go deep down under to Sydney, Australia. We've been here a week. The vibes have been very relaxed. It's like Californication, as you would expect. Documentary filming in Santa Monica and Venice, boot camp in Santa Monica, and some filth from Craig and I, not together, but on this week's podcast. We shall discuss the lays we've had here, the gutter game, the nature of fast pulls as you travel, etc., etc. Anyway, onwards into today's mailbag. Tough love, as I said. First question from Hoff. Hi Tom, in another video you mentioned pre-approach calibration. What is that, please? Good topic, good question. What do you do before you jump in? Well, if you're a beginner, I say 3-second rule. So 1, 2, 3, just go in because you have approach anxiety. But when you've done 100, 200 approaches, you'll start to get calibrated. So you won't open girls at cash machines. You'll know that that's her dad. You'll know that those are her friends. You'll know that her boyfriend's nearby. You'll leave space so you can wheel in front of her. You will find an appropriate moment, not on a dark street. You'll wait till she turns the corner and there's a street light, etc., etc. This also applies to knowing same day lays. This is great for gutter games. So knowing which girls are potentially down. Yeah, I say don't predict. It's not good for the beginner especially to predict. But if you've got your eye on the prize a la gutter game, a la same day lays, you're looking for specific things. In Street Hustle I go through them, but some examples would be she looks dreamy, she's ambling, maybe she's smoking, you can see tattoos, you can see piercings, she's a rebellious girl, she's an alternative girl, she doesn't fit the pattern. You approach her and you get the anime eyes, the eye spaz when you give her the tiger eyes. It's on. These are all signs of a yes girl, and that means you can just escalate quickly, okay? But remember, the game is played on maybe girls. So when you travel and when you're doing same day lays, sure, you're going for a specific type of girl. But day game should be on all types of girls. You shouldn't predict, and the game is played on maybe girls. I keep saying that. Don't just look for yes girls. That's fool's mate. Next question from Erno. He says, how do you decide if a girl is good for a long-term relationship? If after, for example, 2 months of seeing each other, she wants to be your girlfriend, what would make you decide she's worth it? I know you look at some signs, if she has tattoos, drinks, is a rocker, parents still together, to know if it's the same day lay, but how about LTR, long-term relationships, from Erno? Okay, well, I don't size girls up for relationships. Sex has to come first. So have weeks, months of just a sexual relationship. You shouldn't be thinking of anything else, because that's how any kind of male-female relationship in game, in pickup, has to start, all right? The sexual nature. Guys are trying to mold her into a girlfriend when that's not how it is. Guys with the RK mistake, thinking of bad girls and good girls, they just write girls off if they see a tattoo, or if they see that she's just living with her mum, or if they see a piercing, they say, oh, she's filth, you know, she's cheap, she's a club skank, as a day gamer I know would call it. They just write her off because they have that purity fantasy, they have the bad girl, good girl thing. Really, you don't know if a girl is compatible, not just sexually, but for something a bit longer. You don't know that until you've spent a lot of time with her, and I wouldn't make that decision until 3, 4, 5, 6 months in. You should be making that decision from a place of strength, not neediness. You have abundance, you're the chooser, you're not the chosen, okay? You're in lover mode first, so watch my lover video where you're not texting her every day, you're not seeing her every day, you just see her for sex. And after a while you pick up on the vibes. Is she compatible for you? Does it work well together? Is she got other things going on? Is she just your type of girl? Now, she might have a tattoo, she might not. She might have a PhD, she might not. That doesn't mean she's a bad girl. Doesn't mean she's a good girl. That's just that chemistry thing, okay? I'm not looking for a long-term relationship, so I always keep them open. I have one night stand, same day lays. I see a girl 2 or 3 times. I might put her into a mini harem. I might have an open long-term relationship that I had in 2015 where she knows what I'm doing and she knows I sleep with other girls, but I'm not looking for a long-term relationship. If you are, there's a section in Street Hustle on red flags, and that doesn't mean she's a bad girl, that just means potentially psycho for a long-term relationship. But don't dive into long-term relationships before you've had your filthy fun. Listen to this week's podcast. Next question from Andrew. Andrew says, hi, I'm a typical nice guy with average looks and weight, and my biggest sticking point is getting girls to feel primal attraction for me. I read all the tricks, male-female polarization, acting alpha, making deep eye contact, stating my intent. But in my case, I just seem to lack the manly presence to make a girl horny. Many of these girls really like me as a person. They try to feel attraction for me, but I can't get them to feel horny for me. Any advice on how to get a more manly presence? Okay, attraction is non-negotiable, as the famous community saying goes. You can't negotiate desire. Okay, it's not a logical process. She has to feel it. You're right, in that hindbrain. You can kind of fake it till you make it at the beginning with your fashion, with your swagger, with your attraction material. So cocky, funny, breaking rapport, flicking the attraction switches to flick other things, making her jealous, pre-selection, leader of men, all that stuff. But really, it's on a very micro level that she feels it. It's on a very instinctive, as you said, hindbrain level. So this is why I say to guys, don't get a girlfriend, get sexual experience. Day game will give you this. Just approaching girls will give you this. Okay, dating 6s and 7s in the beginning will give you this. Makeouts with 6s will give you this. Abundance with 7s will give you this. Sleeping with 10 girls a year, 20 girls a year, 30 girls a year plus. That will start to give you this sexual presence, okay? And that is very hard to fake, as you said. Women can feel it, that you're a leader, that you have abundance, that you're not Mr. Nice Guy because you break rapport, that you have options, that you hold the frame, that you can walk away. All this stuff you ooze. And then, yeah, that translates, that inner game, which is real, translates to your walk. You might have a bit more bad boy fashion. You can see it in your eyes. Many girls say to me, Tom, you have very dirty, flirty eyes, okay? It's in your smirk. It's just in your frame, and good frame comes from game. So you do the outer stuff first, that affects the inner game, and then you have a nice positive feedback loop. So just being in field, you can't read about that stuff, okay, Andrew? Minima says, I've heard a talk about reverse pickup. This is an interesting one. You do your normal approaches, but instead of taking numbers, you give your number. Have you made this experiment? What would happen if you just change one thing in the London day game model? No, 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 stop. This is horrible. Bad frame, okay? You're the man, you're the lion. The lion doesn't ask permission from the gazelle to run after it and eat it. This is what you were put on the earth to do. You can complain about it, but you're the instigator, okay? Sperm is cheap, eggs are expensive, that's the science. And it just makes you feel good anyway, jumping in front of a hot girl and going for it. You take the number, you never give her your number. In the history of mankind, how many girls have called a guy after he's given them a card? It's a sleazy snake seduction move. Many guys do it, many provider guys do it. Just shows you don't have balls. You're hiding your dick, okay? The thrill of day game is to not hide your dick. Grab life by the horns. You say, listen, you gotta go, I gotta go, but another time I'd like to invite you out. How do I spell your name? You get your phone out, you assume the close. So we say open strong, close strong. It's your role to get the number. She says no to the number. I say to students, plan B. Add her on Facebook or get her Instagram even. Craig this week has been using a few Instagram closes because girls can message you on Instagram. It's also a bit of a DHV, but plan A is the number or WhatsApp. Yeah, but you go for it, man. I know it's triggering anxiety. You get anxiety when you open a girl, and you get anxiety when you go for the contact details, and then you get anxiety on the date, and obviously the pull back to your house. But these are those points. In Badass Buddha, I call them the, what did I say, the badass flames. This is where you got to put your man pedal to the floor. Daniel, next question from Daniel. He says, how do you get compliance from a girl in the daytime? Okay, compliance is one of those words, I know what you mean, but outside of this community, people might think you're talking about permission. No, we're not talking about permission. We're talking about when she's just going along with it, like compliance in a sale, all right? She's following your lead. That is game, okay? Game is getting getting compliance from maybe girls. If she's fully compliant, as in she goes along with your agenda from the beginning, she's a yes girl. That is not game, that is fool's mate, as I've said many times. You can use it on the road, you can use it for gutter game, you can use it a little bit in same day lays, but getting compliance is game. So where compliance stops, I used to say, game begins. So you might try a mini bounce, she's not sure, so you need a bit more game, make her feel comfortable, then she'll do the mini bounce. You might ask her on an instant date, she's not that sure, so you do a bit more grounding, you comply, you get her to qualify, she starts complying. You might go for the kiss, there's non-compliance there, so you roll off, you do a little bit more verbal escalation, you might do a little bit more rapport, you go for the kiss again, you do elephant in the room, all that stuff, that's game. You get it. Leading back to your house, she might not be sure, so you go to another venue, you seed the bounce, etc., etc. This is getting compliance, that's the name of the game, that is the definition of pickup. So don't be fooled into thinking you should get obvious yeses, that girls should be fully compliant from the off. That, my friend, is fool's mate, it's not game. Caleb, how are we doing on time? Yeah, a few more questions. Caleb says, maybe an obvious answer, but one question I would have is how you handle girls post-lay. Do they tend to fall off the radar? Could you elaborate a bit more on whether your approach varies with different scenarios? Normal dating routine, same day lay, gutter game. Post-lay, I'm usually gone. She knows it's lover, it's CAD, it's not provider, it's not boyfriend. That's the frame. How does she know? Because the way I approach her, the twinkle in your eyes, your voice, what you don't promise her. You don't let her sleep over, you're not texting her a lot, it's just sex. Get used to that, guys. This channel, Street Hustling, is largely about that. So post-sex, I'm gone. I'm in a different city. I might see her when I go back to that city. If I'm in one city, I might see her once a week. If there's sexual chemistry, if she's hot, if it's really, really fun, I see her once a week. She's into the harem. If I want something more, like an open long-term relationship, I don't make that decision until months down the line. And yeah, girls fall off the radar. They get chumpy boyfriends, they get providers, they get sugar daddies. But if the sex is good, if you're the cheeky lover, she will come back. Watch the Michael Caine movie, Alfie. Yeah, that explains lover versus provider. Same day lay, it's just the same day lay, it's just a one night stand. If you want to see her again, make sure the sex is good, okay? But you're so attractive anyway, the pickup's been so good, the sex hopefully has been so good, she wants to see you again because you're not needy. Last question, Rowhead, easiest place in the developed world where beginners can see results quickly. Well, this is the irony of ironies. All the pickup guys complain about feminism and sexual liberation of women, and they all go east, hoping for pussy paradise. They go to Europe, they go to Middle Europe, they go to Eastern Europe. Some guys even go to Asia, pay for play kind of stuff. But yes, the irony is that Western girls are a lot more sexually liberated. So here in Los Angeles, both Craig and I got laid with 2 different girls, 2 notches each. We got laid in New York, not with each other. I'd like to stress once again, when we go to Canada, it's quite easy to get laid. One night stand, same day lays, fast pools, gutter game. Vegas, it's easy. Australia, it's easy. London on kind of chavvy British girls. Wales, Cardiff, night out in Cardiff, gutter game, it's easy. So I would say, for the guy who wants lots of sexual experience, with 6s and 7s perhaps, the Western world, thank God for feminism and sexual liberation. Okay, why do we go east then? Why are guys in Moscow? Why are guys in Poland? Why are guys in Prague? Why are guys going to Riga? Hotness. I keep saying again, it's hotness. If you think game there is easy, go and try it. If you think same day lays there are easy in Moscow, go and try it. It's actually hard to resist that boyfriend frame. It's very hard for some guys to resist the provider frame. So to be a lover in Moscow, to be a lover in St. Petersburg, to be a lover even in Poland, it's hard, but the reward, the girls are hot. So practice your game in your own city. Don't run away from it. The grass is always greener on the other side. I've made a video about that, guys traveling, hoping for pussy paradise. It's right here in North America, in Australia, in Western Europe, so that's Spain, you know, in France. My first 100 lasers, I keep saying, were in London. London is a spectacular city for transients, for loneliness of people, for tourists, for local girls. I've got laid in Cardiff. Don't think that because we're traveling for girls, we're traveling for hotness, and I travel for the experience of it. I wanted to end with a funny quote. It's not really a question, it's a comment left on the channel. Tom, you are a force of Satan. Thank you very much. You and your satanic-inspired videos will end up in hellfire. Sounds like a Johnny Cash song. You'll find Jesus and he will clear your soul. He works in the Mexican down the road. Is that a veiled threat? Is that a joke? I don't know, but I'm going to go for a swim to clear my soul, clear my body from the filth of this week. I shall see you down under in Sydney. Thank you for joining this Torero Q&A. If you've got a question, leave it below on the YouTube channel or on my website. Until next time, keep grabbing life by the horns. Ta-da.